What you doing?
Fixing your Jeep with bubbles.
Oh.
And we can work.
Okay. Fixing my Jeep with bubbles. That's a new one, guys. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to TeeDogCustoms, to another video. I have been super busy around the house. I actually re-roofed like the porch side because we were having some leaks in that, and I'm remodeling or closed that porch. It used to be like a porch, closed it in is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, been super tied up with things around the house, working on my mom's vehicle. Got that all squared away. Now I've got the YJ in the garage, partly in the garage. I'm working on the back half of it, and the frame I'm going to support, like run a support from kind of like where the axle is, or drive shaft, sorry, the drive shaft, somewhere in there I'm gonna run a support, a tubed support, and I'm gonna have to bend it, I think, a little bit, but the plan is to just kind of add some rigidity to the frame, and then eventually actually I'm going to do the same thing under the engine, because believe it or not, the whole time I've had this, I have not had a cross member, and it's been fine, but I think it'll just add some stability to the whole engine. And I know for some of y'all are probably like, oh my gosh, like why? And that's a good question, why. It's just I've been tied up with other things, but we're gonna knock into that today and see what we can get done. Hopefully it should be not that difficult of a job, but it should make a big difference. This is kind of what we're working with, some piping, some smaller piping. I'm leaning towards using the thicker piping, and I have bent it plenty of times to know that the bigger pipe I can use my pipe bender for, and it'll work just fine. But this is, well, actually, let me hit the rock lights, see if that, oh, this thing, there we go. Yeah, that helps quite a bit. So somewhere in here, I'll probably cut these tabs off. Those are not being used. Somewhere in here, I'm thinking on bending, and then, so I have two different options. I could either bend under the drive shaft, which is what I'm leaning towards, or I could go above the drive shaft, but then we run into other, moving parts. Whereas if I go under, we will have to bend it, a little, but I think that's the route I'm going to do. I'm gonna start off by just hopping under the Jeep real quick. I won't record that, but I'm gonna hop under, just kind of get a feel for like what all is, what I'm gonna need to do, figure out what size tubing, and then I will sit down with you guys and kind of explain what I'm going to do as far as plan of attack. Not game of attack, plan of attack. All right, guys, I just want to jump in here. It's the middle of the video, but please subscribe if you're not subscribed, or give this at least a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe, at least give me a thumbs up. That way I can kind of get this algorithm thing going. It's kicking my butt, and I just need some traction. So if you wouldn't mind, hit the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and even better, subscribe. Peace. I'm going to start by using this. Oh, this tool is great for working in tight spaces and reaching hard to reach places with like an angle grinder. So if you're using one of these, you can't reach the spots that sander can do. Plus you can really dig in with that and really grind well. So I'm gonna take that, hop underneath, and like start grinding under there and see what we come up with. Right there is where I'm talking about welding. It looks like I can probably, yeah, it looks like I can probably just weld that in because I want to, and then I can also weld the bar in. I think I want the bar in there anyways, so we'll go ahead and clean all that space up real quick. I'm assuming you guys can see that. That should be plenty fine for what I'm doing. And we'll just tack this bar in there so it's tacked in, at least welded. And then we'll go ahead and run our circular bar from here and just run it over to the other side. And I'm not going to show you guys the other side because it's just boring. We're doing the same thing that I just did here. And then when you come to welding, I'll probably just show you the finished product because this lens that I'm using, I do have a lens protector on the camera, but it is a very expensive camera and lens, and I don't want to get weld shards, sparks and stuff all over. The frame rails, everything ready. You can't see from this angle obviously, but we've got everything ready. I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the old welder. I used this welder for years. Well, when I first bought the welder, it came with this gas argon tank. Anyways, I ran out and I never refilled it. I just started using fluxed core wire, and then last year I went back to the gas, and it was like my welds, I don't know, it was amazing. I'll never not weld without gas again. It was just night and day difference. So super happy that I got that dialed in last year. But let's go ahead and I'm going to dive under here, get this thing going, and then we'll measure for the tubing, and then we'll hop under there and I will show you guys the finished product. And I think because of space wise, I'm going to use the thinner tube. I wanted to use this, but we'll use the thick tube for when we go to do the engine cross member. We're going to want something really thicker up there compared to back here, which is just kind of keeping things together, which hasn't been an issue, you know, but I just want to do it so I have it done. So if that makes sense, shouldn't be any issue going with the smaller tubing back. So it just don't get much easier than this. It's a straight shot. I've got the ends ground down. I'm thinking I might scuff this up just a bit before I, you know, once it's in there, I want to throw some paint on it. So might do that real quick, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We're gonna throw this in here. Hopefully I measured correctly and we got some good things going on here shortly. I do want to show one thing though. It's starting to get a little dark here, but I just installed these 2 halogens on the side of the house, and let me tell you guys, I have one ordered for here, which will be a game changer, because when those things at nighttime are on, it lights up the whole place. And then when I have this one up here, it's going to freaking light up everything. Should be super nice for like gatherings and cookouts with my boys and other people, not just the guys. But yeah, super stoked about that. Also, this light on the camera, I can't stress enough how much, like, just amazing this thing does. Like, when I video in here, it's just like boom, crazy. So I love this camera setup. Just as a side note, this is the Sony a6000. It doesn't have the screen that will flip facing you so you can see what you're recording, but it does, you know, it was on Marketplace for a price I could not pass up. So I went this route, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. I'm loving that I'm not having to worry about my GoPro shutting off and missing, you know, footage that you can only get once. So anyways, cheers to this amazing camera. That was an old monster. All right, back to work. So I've got it all tacked in. Now I say tacked in because it's not welded fully in, but something that I noticed is if you look right here, you can see the bar I put in. This is a fuel line, and from experience, if I left that right there, eventually it would wear a hole. And you can see right here that I had put some rubber hosing to protect it. So I'm just going to do that again right here before I forget. This is an old trick, so you know, I'm not making this up by any means, but that will protect. Throw a zip tie on there, and then at least when we're going down the trail or the road, it's not going to rub through. That rubber will protect it, and we won't have to do any trail side repairs, which, let's be honest, are never fun, or roadside repairs, either one. I'm going to go ahead and throw a zip tie on that, but before I do, let's hop underneath. Alright guys, so you can see where I tacked it in right there, and then I had some trouble with this side, but it is tacked in as well. I probably needed to clean it better, but once I fully weld around this whole thing, she'll be golden, and I think that will add quite a bit of stability to this rear end. I feel like that's going to make a huge difference, and I really like that it's up and out of the way. You know, before it would have been somewhere down here, and that just is not cool. So I need to cut these tabs off anyways. I'll probably do that while I'm down here. And I do need to, where I welded up the tabs for the link bars, I need to repaint all this rear axle. Same on this side. So I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the location of where it is was very tough, and I could not physically weld 100% around the whole piping, and I know that that is not ideal for anything, but in this kind of situation, it is what it is, and it's been fine, and this is just extra support. So it's not like 100% essential or necessary. It's not a part that is holding like link bars or anything like that. It's strictly to tighten the frame rails to keep them together, you know, instead of apart. So just for example speaking, this is welded right here, which is keeping the frame rails from just popping apart under torque and load and different angles. And that's all this is to create more stiffness in the chassis, or the, you know, whatever you want to call it, frame rails. So I don't have paint yet, so it's still raw. It is very awkward, and you can see it started pitting for some reason right there. I'm not sure why, but you can see where the pitting started. So it's not bad, guys. And then this side over there, but I still need to paint it all. And just like that, folks, I have wrapped up this project. Let's go underneath, we'll take a look at it. There we go. Look at that. Boom. All right. That job is done. Now next time, at some point, I will get into it and we will do the front. That is going to be a little more involved because I'm gonna have to, I want to make it removable, so I'm gonna have to do some plating and figure out how to bolt it in to where I can remove the cross member, because I want it to be removable. So that will take a little more time. I'm really trying to get back into the YouTube thing. I know I've been gone for quite a while. I'm trying to get back into it and really put out some better content, not just random junk stuff, but some actual content that might help you guys. So I hope this, if you're thinking about stiffening up your chassis a little bit, this should help. And yeah, it's always good to have more information when you're going into something. I think this will help, definitely. I'm curious to know if I notice a difference when I'm actually driving it, because I haven't really driven it, just took it down the road. So without further ado, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope it's been helpful. Don't forget, comment if you got any comments, if you got any critiques. I'm always trying to learn. I am not a fabricator first. I am more of a mechanic, of like the diesel engines, putting them together, that sort of thing. I'm not much of a fabricator. I've recently been trying to, you know, grow my skill in that area, and it's been pretty fun, but I do not come from a fabrication background. I'm mainly like engines and, you know, that sort of thing. So as I'm learning how to fabricate, this is pretty much my, well, I take that back. I did have a Mazda B3000 that I diesel swapped, but that was way back at the beginning of my channel. But check this out, guys. I think you'll like where we go from here, following. I appreciate the support. Don't forget, you know, give it a thumbs up, please. Yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.